Hello everyone, with Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Friday evening, November 2024. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Leave a comment down below letting me know what the weather has been like in your recently. Also, feel free to ask any other related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let's take a look at the US National Hurricane Center's 7-day graphical tropical weather look. And we can see that as of their latest update that just came out at 7:25 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is actually 6:25 p.m. Jamaica time, so almost 30 minutes ago, you can see that we still have those 3 areas of interest, those areas of possible development across the Atlantic. That one still right here to the west of the Azores Islands that now has a medium chance of development, a 50% chance of development at that. We also see that we still have that one across the waters to the north of Puerto Rico that has a low 10% chance of development. And we see that we still have that one across the southwestern Caribbean and now has a high chance of development. It's a code red. And we're going to be focusing more of our attention on this system across the southwestern Caribbean. But before we do that, we need to take a look at the visible satellite images to highlight all of these entities. You can see the clouds right here associated with that area of spin that has a medium chance of development. You can see the Azores Islands right here to the east of it. You can see a lot of clouds associated with the area that has a low chance of development to the north of the Eastern Caribbean, to the north of Puerto Rico in general. And as of right now, we have some clouds across the southwestern Caribbean associated with that other system that has a high chance of development. But we see that this one over here is definitely looking a bit more impressive than the one in the southwestern Caribbean at the moment. If we even take a look at the infrared satellite images, the rainbow loop, we can see the differences. Look at all of the deep convection to the north of the Eastern Caribbean associated with that system with the low chance of development. And that's because that system is definitely being sheared out, lots of thunderstorm activity taking place. The system across the southwestern Caribbean, yes, it has some clouds, it has some showers and thunderstorms, but not really looking as impressive as yet. But that could definitely change as we get into the weekend and early next week. If we take a look at what the Hurricane Center is stating regarding this system across the waters to the north of Puerto Rico, they've stated here: a trough of low pressure located near Puerto Rico is producing a large area of showers and thunderstorms over portions of the Greater Antilles and the adjacent waters of the Atlantic and the northeastern Caribbean. Slow development of this system is possible during the next couple of days as it moves west-northwestward near the Greater Antilles. After that time, the system is expected to be absorbed into the low pressure area over the Caribbean. Regardless of development, locally heavy rains are possible during the next several days from the northern Leeward Islands westward across Puerto Rico and Hispaniola to eastern Cuba and the southeastern Bahamas. And we see that they've given it a 10% chance of cyclone formation within the next 2 days as well as within the next 7 days. But this is the big newsmaker right now, this area that has a high 80% chance of cyclone formation. And the Hurricane Center has stated, surface observations and satellite imagery indicate that a broad area of low pressure is forming over the southwestern Caribbean. Additionally, gradual development is possible over the next several days, and a tropical depression is likely to form late this weekend or early next week, while the system drifts generally northward or northwestward over the central or western Caribbean Sea. Regardless of development, locally heavy rains are possible over portions of the adjacent land areas of the Western Caribbean, including Jamaica, Hispaniola, and Cuba. So they finally mentioned our name. We're definitely going to be in for a lot of heavy rainfall over the next couple of days, so get ready. I wouldn't be surprised if many of us can't get to go to work on Monday, if not on Tuesday. Not to mention school. I know a lot of students want to hear that. And we see that the hurricane center has given this system a 40% chance of cyclone formation within the next 2 days, as well as an 80% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days. And we're gonna be taking a look at what the supercomputer models are showing. We're gonna be first looking at the latest Euro model. We're gonna be going out to the next 168 hours, just like what the hurricane center would do. We're going out to the next 7 days, and we're gonna be focusing our attention right here at the bottom of our screen. We're gonna be looking for all of the greens, the yellows, the moisture in general that we see by the key on the right that represents inches of rainfall. So as we go out in time and as we watch the timestamp at the top, we see that even as we head into Saturday, there's still a lot of rainfall still plaguing portions of especially northeastern Jamaica, the waters to the north of Hispaniola, Puerto Rico, and the eastern Caribbean, still getting a lot of moisture. And we see that this system is trying its best to push westward into northern Hispaniola and the eastern Cuba, as well as the southeastern Bahamas, just like what the Hurricane Center stated would happen. And then look at what's happening to the south of Jamaica and Haiti by 12Z on Sunday. This is 7 a.m. We're seeing that we're getting a bit more deeper convection, more moisture, darker greens, yellows, heavier rainfall. That is basically anywhere from around 4 to 6 inches of rainfall in general. And look at what takes place. This system grows some isobars, and we see that it's definitely pushing northward, getting a bit closer to Jamaica. Look at the dark greens, look at the yellows, stretching all the way from Panama, Colombia, all the way up into portions of Jamaica. By Monday, this is just ridiculous amount of rainfall. If this actually verifies, it wouldn't even make sense to leave your house on Monday at all, because this is definitely flood triggering rainfall. This is 18th on Monday, which is actually 1 p.m. Look at all of the rainfall coming into Jamaica. This is an area of low pressure right here. It could be a strong tropical wave, if not a tropical depression or a low-end tropical storm at that time. So we definitely have to pay close attention to see exactly what unfolds. Even as we head out some more in time, 21Z on Monday is actually 4 p.m. Lots of rainfall coming into portions of Jamaica. And then we see that as we head into early Tuesday, we start to get in on that rainfall. Still affecting us, but most of the activity now off towards the northwest of us, maybe across the Cayman Islands, south of Cuba right there. And then as we continue to go to the last frame, that's the 168 hour mark, we see what takes place. This system should be right here across the Gulf of Mexico, but that doesn't mean that we still can get in a lot of moisture across the Caribbean, as we still see a lot of greens across portions of the southwestern Caribbean, Hispaniola eastward as well. And we're gonna be looking at the GFS's 12Z run that came out this afternoon, as well as the 18Z run. We're gonna be comparing the two runs. The 18Z run we know just came out an hour ago, and the 12Z run came out, I believe, completely came out at about 12 p.m. today. So first, the 12Z run, we're going out in time, we're seeing what's going to be taking place. And just like the Euro, by 12Z on Sunday, we see some deeper convection, darker greens, yellows, oranges, reds. Lots of rainfall starting to take shape to the north of Colombia, to the south of Jamaica right there. And then as we head into Monday, look at that. We even see more tightening of the isobars, indicating a definite stronger system, if not a tropical storm, maybe a low-end hurricane. Hopefully it's not a strong hurricane. But look at that, it's right there to the southeast of Jamaica by 7 a.m. on Monday. I wouldn't be surprised if we wake up on Monday morning, if not on Sunday, to the fact that we have some kind of watches or warnings out. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a potential tropical cyclone alert, issuing some watches and warnings for Jamaica. Can you imagine the rush to go and get some things? But boy, we wouldn't want to have any major hurricanes like Beryl at all. Hopefully whatever takes place, it looks a bit more like what the Euro is showing, because this is just ridiculous. This is damaging in general. This can cause power outages, this can cause flooding, landslides. And this is what, 7 a.m. on Monday. Today is Friday. We have what, like 3 days left. This is ridiculous if this actually comes to fruition. Look at this, definitely a hurricane for sure between Jamaica, Cuba, and Haiti. And then I'm just going to stop it right there on the 12-0 of the GFS. Because if we look at the 18-0 for the same time period, it's a bit closer to Jamaica than what the 12Z had. Look at this. Let's go back. So this is as of 0Z on Tuesday, which is 7 p.m. on Monday. This is where the system is located on the 18Z run. Let us find the same timestamp on the 12Z run. This is basically it. Look at the differences. We definitely see, if we actually look closely, we definitely see that on the 12Z run, it was a bit further out into the sea, to the east of Jamaica, closer to Haiti than anything else. But look at the 18Z run, has it closer to Jamaica, so it's definitely starting to cave to what the Euro model was showing for the same time period in general. Going back, we see what's taking place. Look at this. Look at this. Basically the same thing. They're basically showing the consensus right here. This is what we don't want to see. As of right now, we can see that the Euro is definitely a bit weaker than the GFS. Hopefully we get the Euro solution, because if we get the GFS solution, we're in for some bad weather. We're in for power outages, internet disconnections, something of that manner. The waters down here are very warm, not only at the skin of the ocean, but even the deeper we go into the ocean. If we get a hurricane out of this spinning up quickly, it's not even impossible. It's definitely possible. We saw how quickly Oscar spinned up to the north of Hispaniola, and we have bathwater down here. And the GFS has been consistent with the intensity forecast. The Euro showing something, but hopefully we get what the Euro is showing. More of a weekend something that's right here, if not a tropical depression, a low-end tropical storm. Either way, we see that we don't have that much tightening of the isobars, so it's definitely some kind of a weak system. 1003 millibars, that doesn't sound strong, but what the GFS is showing, 972 millibars, 979 millibars, that's definitely a hurricane, if not strong tropical storm territory for sure. Boy, we don't want that at all. And we know the next name on the list is Patty, and we've been getting all the Patty jokes, but boy, if this actually comes to fruition, this would be quite a historic hurricane for us in general. But let us see what both the Euro and the GFS models have at the end of the 168 hours. So let's go back on the Euro, and we're going to match it to what the GFS is showing at the end of the 168 hours. So we're starting to see the consensus a bit. Clearly, both of the models have the system at the end of the 7 days somewhere across the Gulf of Mexico. Euro has it right here, smack dab in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico. GFS has it right here, somewhere closer to the Yucatan Peninsula. Either way, we have to pay close attention to what occurs. We even see some moisture right there affecting portions of the Dominican Republic, maybe Puerto Rico at that time. So we definitely have to pay close attention to the hurricane season before all is said and done. Anyways, as I've stated before, regardless of development into Patty, we know that there's going to be a lot of rainfall coming our way, and we're starting to see the consensus on both the Euro and the GFS models in terms of the amount of rainfall. This map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing all the rainfall that's expected from now all the way up to Wednesday, November 6th. This is showing all the rainfall within the next 5 days. And we can definitely see the dark reds, the purples, the pinks, the salmon colors that we can see by the key on the right. That represents anywhere from 2 all the way up to 7 inches of rainfall. That's flood triggering rainfall right there. The GFS showing something similar, stretching all the way from the southern Caribbean, from Colombia all the way up into portions of Jamaica. Definitely gonna be getting in on a lot of flooding, if not landslides, if these actually come to fruition, boy. And the time span is just getting smaller, so the chances of this actually happening are increasing. It's not like this is 10 days out, or 7 days out. This is just within the next, what, 3 to 4 days. So we're definitely in for something for sure. It would be some drastic changes that need to be made in order for all of this moisture to miss us. And boy, it doesn't seem like it's going to be happening. It definitely seems to be on track, even although nothing has formed as yet. The fact that both supercomputer models are in such good agreement that there's going to be so much rainfall coming into portions of Jamaica, stretching all the way from Colombia, Panama, right here into Jamaica, even into Haiti. It's definitely going to be a very bad situation. We even see some of the lighter shades of blues in some of this that we know represents up to 10 inches of a rainfall. And we know how these things go. All the way up to 10 inches of rainfall. We can actually look to see how much millimeters of rainfall. We have this nice little graphic right here. That's anywhere from 50 all the way up to 400 millimeters of rainfall if this actually comes to fruition. So we have a lot of bad weather to look forward to in general. And I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with what happens. If we take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see that we still have that ridge of high pressure right there to the north of the Caribbean, to the east of the United States. Another one right here to the northwest of Africa. And if we take a look, we can also see that frontal system stretching all the way from the northern portion of North Atlantic all the way down into portions of the northeastern Caribbean. It has also induced a trough into the area, and it's this trough that's definitely causing all of the showers and thunderstorms that we saw to the north of Puerto Rico. We can see another trough right here across Florida. We can also see a tropical wave right here across northeastern South America to the east of the Windward Islands. Another trough right here to the east of the tropical wave, and another tropical wave right here to the southeast of that trough. If we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can make out all of these entities. The clouds associated with the frontal system attached to the trough into portion of the Leeward Islands. We can also make out the clouds associated with a tropical wave right here to the east of the Caribbean. We can make out right here another tropical wave squashed down with the intertropical convergence zone to the southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands. And we can also make out some showers and thunderstorms associated with that broad airflow pressure to the south of Jamaica. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Friday, November 1, 2024. It was stated that parts of northern Jamaica would have received rainfall last night into Friday morning, and that section of some southern parishes would have gotten on the rainfall on Friday afternoon. And just for reference, we know northern parishes, we're talking about those parishes on top, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. While southern Jamaica, we're talking about those parishes like Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Thomas. And what ended up happening? As early as 8:30 p.m. yesterday evening, we had the Cuban Doppler radar images being posted on our social media platforms, first on our Twitter page with the Jamaica. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that these posts aren't only made here on our Twitter page, but they're also made on our Instagram page with their .Jamaica, on our TikTok page with the Jamaica, and on our Facebook page with the Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there, as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So we can definitely see that as of 8:30 p.m., we were getting in on some green, some yellows that represent some amount of moderate to slightly heavy rainfall coming into portion of Portland, section of St. Mary, getting in on the mix, and they've been getting in on that rainfall. We've talked countless times about the reason for this, and that's the relief rainfall in general, and I'm going to be explaining some more about the relief rainfall later on in this video. This explains why Portland and especially St. Mary have been getting in on so much rainfall for the past week, and it's not over yet. They're definitely in for some more rainfall tomorrow. So yes, we saw that rainfall last night. Even into this morning, we had some rainfall on the north coast as well. And then look at what was taking place at around a little bit after midday. We're definitely getting in on some Moderate to heavy rainfall lashing portions of Crossroads in St. Andrew. Not only Crossroads, basically the entirety of St. Andrew, Kingston, definitely gotten on some rainfall for sure. I wasn't halfway through doing business. When I stepped in the building, it was sunny, had some clouds here and there. When I stepped out the building, huge rain shaft, showers coming in heavy. Had to jump into a taxi and get back to work in downtown Kingston quickly before it started raining. As soon as I got back to work, it was pouring. So I was lucky. Boy, we definitely got it today, this afternoon, this early afternoon. And we saw the live camera being posted on our social media platform showing Crossroads. And keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit See Jamaica on YouTube. They show live streams of the corporate era, the Kingston Harbor Flatbridge, and they're planning on increasing the amount of cameras that they have in and around the island. So subscribe today so that you don't miss out. That's See Jamaica on YouTube. Just type that in. If we take a look at the other post that was made, this is the visible satellite images that were posted at around 3:05 p.m. highlighting the clouds bringing the overcast skies and isolated thunderstorms to portions of St. Elizabeth at that time. Look at the sparkling yellow dots that we know represent some amount of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes. We're definitely getting on some isolated shores across sections of Westmoreland. The thunderstorms are definitely affecting sections of St. Elizabeth. But first of all, we saw that northern Jamaica at first, at the beginning of this GIF image, was getting on that rainfall. Then if we look closely, we can see that rainfall spilled into portions of Kingston, St. Andrew. That explains the rainfall that we got in the early afternoon. And it also spilled into portions of St. Catherine as well. So that indeed confirms the rainfall that was predicted for sections of northern Jamaica as well as sections of some southern parishes. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica, we can see exactly what unfolded. We saw the low level flow coming in from the northeast. We saw the clouds bringing isolated shores to sections of some northern parishes even this afternoon. And we saw the thunderstorms that lashed portions of St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland before all was said and done with the day before we started losing that sunlight. And if we take a look at the infrared satellite images, we can make out the clouds still bring some isolated shores to portion of northern Jamaica. We can make out the thunderstorms affecting portions of the waters to the southwest of St. Elizabeth as we speak. And if we take a look back at See Jamaica's YouTube channel showing what was taking place, this is Crossroads. This is when we were getting the heavy rainfall. You can see traffic kind of at a standstill as usual in the corporate era when it rains. Definitely getting on that heavy rainfall at around 12:33 p.m. on the Crossroads camp. But look at this, just 1 hour later, 1:43, and we can definitely see what's taking place. More so partly cloudy skies, sky blue, sun already out. Yes, the ground looks soaked to signal that we definitely got a heavy downpour. But boy, the sun came out and dried up the area so quickly. Wouldn't believe it. But the temperatures were a bit cooler. And we're indeed grateful for that in general. We definitely wish we had more rain showers like that throughout the day, almost every day. That would be really nice for our mood because we know the rainfall puts us in a good mood, especially with the cooler than average temperatures. And we need the rainfall. The rainfall keeps water in our pipes. And we need that. We need water. It's very essential. If we take a look at the accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, this map does indeed paint a picture of where we had that rainfall across sections of northern Jamaica in the morning, across sections of some southern parishes during the afternoon, just as predicted. Even although the rainfall totals are not 100% accurate, we see some oranges in there that represents 140 millimeters. We know that that didn't come to fruition. It could have been that we had very less than that, if not some more totals of that in some isolated spots. We know that the totals in terms of the rainfall on this map from the CIMH aren't 100% accurate, but the geography, the location of the rainfall is definitely accurate for sure. If we take a look at the comments that came in from some of our followers to confirm the rainfall, we had WM Portion Master stating, just got a second light shower in an hour. I'm in Guaton, St. Catherine. If we also take a look here, we had Boogie Foodie JA stating good rain in Kingston 6 hours ago. Pumpkin stating raining downtown. PGA76 stating mostly strong winds and light rain. We also had some comments coming in here on our Instagram page. Portmore Bell underscore Nas stating pouring at NMIA, that's the Norman Man-ish International Airport. We also had Beauty Boss Amanda stating rain at Spain, that's Spanish Town. We had Realm underscore JA stating we got little blessings in Portmore, but the sun come out in its glory. Simret underscore Selassie stating rain did tear at Kingston 6, it stopped now. And finally we had Edwards Tanisha stating we got some showers in South Manchester, no thunderstorm, just waters. So that indeed 100% confirms the rainfall that was predicted for a section of southern Jamaica in the afternoon and northern Jamaica in the morning. And if we take a look at the very latest infrared satellite image of Jamaica, let's look at the very latest still image that just came out. Let's see. At 5 minutes past the hour, so 0005 UTC, is about 7:05 p.m. Jamaica time. So this just came out, what, 5, 10, 13 minutes ago. We can definitely make out the fact that we don't have much taking place across the island right now. Some low-level clouds across a portion of northeastern Jamaica, maybe some isolated shores within those. Some thunderstorms right here to the southwest of St. Elizabeth, and we see the high cold clouds being sheared off to the east. If we take a look at the Doppler radar images to match what we're seeing on the infrared, let's see. Let's reload these images. Let's get the very latest. Let us see what's happening across the island, because you know the Doppler radar images show the actual rainfall. Oh no. Alright, so it seems as if the Doppler radar images have glitched out. We know this happens a lot. This is our really need the Jamaican radar back up and running. The last image that was shown right here is 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 5:30 p.m. Jamaica time. But we can definitely make out some isolated shores coming into portion of Portland, some rainfall to the south of eastern Jamaica, and we make out that rainfall to the south and west of St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland. So that kind of confirms it, even although it's a little bit outdated, but we can still make out the thunderstorms right there to the southwest of the island. If we take a look at the Guantanamo Bay Cuban Naval Radar Station imagery, we can make out that rainfall that's definitely affecting portion of Portland. So the low level clouds that we highlighted on the still image definitely have some rainfall within them. If we take a look at the Cayman radar, we can definitely make out that rainfall that we just saw on the infrared satellite image for a portion of the waters to the south of Westmoreland to the southwest of St. Elizabeth. We can also make out some isolated shores right there to the south of the Cayman Islands too. And if we take a look at what's happening right now on the latest Barbican cam, we can see people walking about, going about their business. You can see people in their vehicles going about their business. Definitely looks to be fair right now. But who knows, maybe some of that rainfall coming in on the north coast might spill into portion of some northern areas of some southern parishes. We know these things can happen in general, but definitely a lot more rainfall in store for northern Jamaica given the current weather pattern across the island. If we take a look at the temperatures right now, we can see that we have 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay and Kingston, and by about 4 a.m. on Saturday, temperature should dip down to about 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 24 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is showing 18 on Saturday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Saturday. And we can see Jamaica right here embedded in the gray colors. I know the gray color represents 0 on the key on the right. The 0 represents average or normal temperature. So no yellows or oranges, that represents above normal. No blues or greens, that represents below normal. So it should be average temperatures in store for Jamaica on Saturday. And we know the average temperatures for the month of November across Jamaica. 88 degrees Fahrenheit, when calculated 88 degrees Fahrenheit, is 31.1 degrees Celsius. So that's the temperature forecast for tomorrow, 31.1 degrees Celsius. Could be lower in some spots, especially in the north coast where we have those nice northeasterly trade winds. Either way, if it's gonna be too hot for you tomorrow, here are some tips to beat the heat. Always dress down, wear lightweight clothing, and use sunscreen. Seek shade when you're outside. Eat fresh fruit. Try eating cold food such as salads and fruits. And I cannot stress enough how important it is to always stay hydrated. Drink lots of water even if you're not thirsty. Drink water, especially instead of the sugary drinks, for sure. If we take a look at the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on a Saturday, we can make out that we're still in the clear across North America, the Caribbean, South America, Central America, because all of the browns that represent the Saharan dust should be across the waters of the main development region. And we see what has been happening. It has been pushing westward, yes, all courtesy of the ridge of high pressure to the northwest of Africa. But we see that the more west it goes, the more it dwindles. That's what we want to happen. We want it to be dwindling. We want it to be dying out, even although it would help to limit the development of what's going to be happening regarding the system in the Caribbean to the south of Jamaica. But boy, none of us need the Saharan dust right now. We know it causes very hazy skies, not to mention triggers some amount of respiratory illnesses in persons, asthma, sinusitis, you name it. If we take a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can definitely see that we still have those high wave heights across the eastern Caribbean, the northern Caribbean. We see the purples, we see the burgundies that we know represents the 2 all the way up to 4 meter wave heights. And we see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus with this. The central to the eastern and western Caribbean should be getting on those lighter shades of blues, the darker shades of blues that we can see by the key on the bottom right that represents anywhere from 0.5 meter wave height all the way up to 1.5 meter wave heights. And that's because the winds are going to be averaging anywhere from, let's say, 5 to 10 knots across the Caribbean, averaging anywhere from 20 all the way up to 30 knots to the north of the Caribbean, which explains the high wave heights right there, where we have the trough. We can definitely see the era spin associated with it to the north of the Dominican Republic. Definitely some strong winds in there, some of which is making it through the windward passage in a northeasterly kind of fashion towards Jamaica. And we can also see the era spin right here across the southwestern Caribbean associated with that broad airflow pressure that's trying to get its act together. If we take a look at the close-up of Jamaica in terms of the wind forecast for tomorrow, we see that we still have those strong northeasterly trade winds coming in. We see the greens, we see the yellows. That represents anywhere from 15 all the way up to 25 knots. And we also see that the least amount of wind should be across sections of some southern parishes again. So as usual, anything that comes off of the sea tonight into tomorrow definitely going to be affecting a portion of northern Jamaica with some amount of that rainfall. Then during the afternoon on Saturday, when all of the air is piling up, we're definitely going to be in for some amount of rainfall across portions of Kingston, St. Andrew, maybe St. Thomas, sections of St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland again. We know what usually happens. Those low-level clouds becoming mid-level rain clouds, if not upper-level cumulonimbus clouds. So look out for that rainfall. And as stated, here's the explanation for all of that rainfall that Portland and St. Mary has been receiving. They're getting in on that relief rainfall. Relief rainfall has to do with the winds contributing to that rainfall. So let's say we're looking at Jamaica from the interior of the island. Let's say we're somewhere right here between St. Catherine and St. Anne, and we're looking eastward. So more than likely this will be the Blue Mountains. This side of the island, or to the right of the Blue Mountains, would be the south coast. So it would be more than likely Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Thomas direction. This side of the island, the left hand side, would be the north coast. So more than likely St. Mary, Portland side. And with the northeasterly trade winds heading into Portland and St. Mary, all of this rises, all of this evaporates, heads into the clouds, and then we have more rainfall taking place. And then as usual, the rain shadow side is the drier side. Usually we don't get in on much of that rainfall unless it's some overbearing amounts of rainfall that it can't just help to spill into portions of some southern parishes, maybe during the early morning, if not in the night. But usually we are void of the rainfall on the south side, and it's usually when we have those clouds building because of the daytime heating that we get some rainfall on the southern side of the island. But clearly Portland and St. Mary are always going to be getting in on that northeasterly trade wind that a northeasterly flow, especially with the windward passage right there. This little canal right here between Haiti and Jamaica. This is the windward passage. This is bringing a lot of winds and moist winds at that into portion of Portland and St. Mary, which explains all the rainfall that we've been getting. As a matter of fact, I posted a video last night from Television Jamaica on our social media page, highlighting the damage that all of the rainfall has been causing to portion of Portland and St. Mary. They've definitely been getting in on a lot of flash flooding, if not rock slides and landslides in general. So that can definitely happen if they're always getting that rainfall, and the ground is already saturated and they're in for a lot more rainfall tomorrow, not to mention the amount of rainfall that's expected to come as we head into Monday and Tuesday with this system that could be named Patty. So they're in for a lot more rainfall, a lot more flash floods. So I hope that they're paying close attention to the weather. If we take a look at the wind shear map, we can see the wind shear should be shifting a bit tomorrow, coming in more so from the southwest tomorrow. That would definitely favor more of that rainfall across northern Jamaica than anything else. And if we take a look at the actual rainfall forecast maps now, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both valid for 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 6 a.m. Jamaica time. So we're definitely in for some amount of rainfall tomorrow morning, if not already tonight. For a section of northern Jamaica, section of St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland, we see those areas shaded in blue. Definitely going to be getting on some early morning rainfall. Even as we head into 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 10 a.m. Jamaica time, we still see a lot of rainfall plaguing the same spots. Sections of St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland for sure. That's where we see both the Euro and the GFS models in consensus, even although the Euro model is trying to incorporate portions of St. James and Trelawney. We're more inclined to believe what both of them are showing. So Portland still getting in a lot of rainfall. Then we see what's happening by around 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 2 p.m. Jamaica time. Yes, we're still getting in on the blues that represent rainfall across the northeast, Portland, St. Mary, St. Anne. But we're also starting to get in on some of the blues across sections of some southern parishes, some rainfall. Maybe section of Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland for sure with the afternoon rainfall again. And even as we head into the late hours, we're still getting in on some rainfall. Look at this. This is 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday, which is actually 8 p.m. Jamaica time. And look, what's the difference? We're still getting in on some rainfall. St. Mary, Portland, Eastern St. Thomas, section of St. Anne getting in on the mix. Boy, it's just going to be a wet one. Isolated flash flooding, definitely in store for a section of the northeast for sure. So I hope that the persons who reside in those areas are definitely taking the necessary precautions. If you know that you're in a flood prone area, if you know that your area is susceptible to landslides, please ensure that you're on the alert and you're paying close attention. And even the accumulated precipitation forecast maps are in consensus that's going to be raining a lot within the next 24 hours. This map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing all the rainfall that's expected from now all the way up until 10 p.m. on Saturday. And we see the yellows, we see the oranges, we see the reds represent anywhere from 0.5 for an inch of rainfall all the way up into the 1 inch of rainfall range. And it could be even more than an inch in some isolated spots. Definitely going to be a bad situation for northeastern Jamaica in general. But I'm sure some areas, especially on the south coast, could use the rainfall. We're in the month of October. We're starting to wrap up our rainy season. Well, we're in the month of November. We're starting to wrap up our rainy season. In Kingston, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the top, we usually receive up to 50 millimeters of rainfall. That's about the same as 2 inches of rainfall for the month. In Montego Bay, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the bottom, we usually receive close to 5 inches of rainfall for the month of November. That's about 175 millimeters of rainfall, if I'm not mistaken. No, 5 inches. Let's see. Yes, 125 millimeters of rainfall, so I was definitely mistaken. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish receives throughout the year in terms of rainfall, you can visit weatherandclimate.com. and you can use this nice little graphic right here to do the mathematical calculations yourself. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus your attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So we can see the clouds associated with that trough that has a low chance of development to the north of Puerto Rico. Lots of showers and thunderstorms plaguing the Leeward Islands as we speak. Section of Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic getting on the mix. So too section of the ABC Islands. They must be happy to get in on some rainfall. They are not usually getting rainfall. Sections of Venezuela getting in on the mix. So too Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala getting in on some of that. So too Belize. And if you take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean, let's see what's happening across Puerto Rico right now. You can definitely make out some moderate to heavy rainfall to the east of Puerto Rico, definitely lashing portions of the British Virgin Islands, section of the Dominican Republic getting on some of the action too. If we take a look at the images from earlier today, we can see that from about 1:50 p.m. we're definitely getting in on some moderate to heavy rainfall across section of Puerto Rico, and they've been getting in on some flash flooding since yesterday, and they're still getting in on some heavy rainfall as we speak. And there's a lot more to come before all is said and done with this system. If we take a look at the Barbados radar, we can make out some rainfall to the north and east of the island. Some of this rainfall definitely coming in from the southeast. Maybe some isolated hit or miss showers tonight across parts of Barbados. Looking northward, we can see some isolated showers to the east of Dominica. Some rainfall coming into portion of St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines. Don't see much right now across Trinidad and Tobago. Most of the activities to the north of there and pushing northwestward. If we take a look at the wider view of Doppler radar images, we can make out some rainfall across sections of northwestern Venezuela, some rainfall across sections of Colombia, and look at the flow of the rainfall. You can definitely know that something is up. Could be the MGO, either way, lots of rising air, lots of showers. Look at that. This is just ridiculous. It's setting up the stage for some bad weather in general. We can make out some rainfall on the Nicaragua radar right there. We can make out some rainfall right there across the Yucatan Peninsula, northern Guatemala, Belize getting on some of the mix. And regarding where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, we can definitely see the heaviest of the rainfall in the purples and the pinks for portions of the water to the north of Colombia. So we're definitely starting to set up the stage. Tomorrow when we get up, we're starting to see some deeper convection down into this portion of the basin right here to the south of Jamaica right here. We're gonna start seeing this area light up with a lot more oranges and reds, and even as we head into Sunday, deeper convection trying to pull northward into portions of Jamaica in general. So lots of rainfall, get ready for that if you live in Colombia. So too sections of Panama, Costa Rica within the next 24 hours. There could be some flash flooding taking place in those spots. So too some rainfall for portions of Nicaragua, El Salvador, Honduras, section of Guatemala, Belize, the Yucatan Peninsula, some isolated shores for the Cayman Islands, Cuba, sections of Florida, sections of the Bahamas, sections of the Turks and Caicos. So too sections of Haiti, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, the US and British Virgin Islands. You can also see some rainfall in store for sections of St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Martin, Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Barts, sections of Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, and even sections of Barbados. Not seeing much for eastern Venezuela or Guyana, Suriname or French Guiana, but definitely a lot of rainfall in store for the northeastern Caribbean in general. I know that when both maps from the Euro and the GFS are in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.